After Fulton County State's Attorney, District Attorney Fannie Willis was removed from the case in Georgia, the election interference case, Republicans dragged their feet over naming a prosecutor. The deadline was approaching. Well, guess what? They're now someone who's going to be doing this. That's right. The leader of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, Peter Skandalakis, is going to be taking over the case. His organization was unable to find another prosecutor, and he chose to lead the prosecution due to his familiarity with some of the immense deep case of files. And remember, Fannie Willis filed against Donald Trump, indicted Donald Trump and 18 others in August of 2023 using Georgia's anti-racketeering laws, saying they were involved in a scheme to overturn the results in the state. Now, we also know what happened with the whole deal with the boyfriend. Trump and them countered. It went to court. It was all kind of drama, all the way up to the Georgia Supreme Court. But it's now, that whole mess is now dealt with. Now they have a prosecutor. Now this case is going to move forward. And now, hopefully, we can see some justice prevail against this thug, this twice impeached, criminally convicted con man in chief, Donald Trump. My panel, Matt Manning, civil rights attorney out of Corpus Christi, Waikuni Siant, CEO and co-founder of Politicking, DC, Michael Imhotep, host, African History Network show. And I'm sure Matt is just enjoying me rocking this 12th man jersey of the number 3 ranked team in the country. And it's not his little school in Austin. All right, let's get to it. Thank goodness this is going to move forward. Michael, a lot of folk were scared. Actually, I'm sorry, Matt, my bad. Sorry, Matt. A lot of folks were scared that these folks in Georgia were going to allow the deadline to expire and let Trump get off. Now we have a prosecutor, and now he can be held into account. Just your thoughts on this decision.
Well, I think this decision really is about as ugly as that jersey you have on, Roland, because I think it's much ado about nothing. Reading the article, I was really dismayed because the reason he appointed himself is because he couldn't get anybody else to take the case. I suspect what's going to happen is that he's going to find a way to tank this case and say that he looked at it and he's, relying on the immunity decision or some other reason, and is going to say that this is an unsupportable case. I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't really think there's anything looming positively down the road in terms of this case being prosecuted, because he's basically got backed into having to prosecute this case. And I think that is not going to bear well for the prosecution of the case, particularly because it was already one that was kind of a sprawling, difficult case in terms of the application and the nuance. This is not the normal application of a RICO case. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to find a way to dump the case, and they're going to say that Fannie Willis, messed it up from the beginning, and they're going to try to scapegoat her, and nothing's going to happen to Donald Trump.
And we do have is that Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee has dropped 3 charges out of the dozens in the case. Today, I'm reading this story here from CBS Atlanta. On Friday, McAfee ordered that counts 14, 15, and 27, conspiracy and criminal attempt to file false documents and filing false documents, respectively, should be dismissed. Trump had been charged with 2 of the counts, 15 and 27. McAfee had signaled in September 2024 that he wanted to remove the charges, arguing that they lie beyond the state's jurisdiction. He was not able to officially drop the charges until the case was remanded to him, which did not happen until Fulton County DA Fannie Willis' disqualification was finalized in the Georgia courts. The judge had previously quashed 6 counts in the indictment, including 3 against Mr. Trump in March 2024. Even with the counts removed, 32 remain, including an overarching racketeering charge brought against the remaining 15 defendants. Winkoni? I think you're muted.
Thanks, Roland. Happy birthday, by the way. I agree with what Matt.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think the most exciting part of this case was that it was the most likely of all the various criminal charges surrounding Trump to go to trial, because it was actually going to be a state case handled by a local Georgia prosecutor. But we see in this case of get somebody else to do it, with him actually stepping up to do it, it doesn't seem very likely that it's going to actually be prosecuted and going to trial. And if we look at the federal cases, we see that they're often, pardoned. So with the immunity standing there and the fact that he's taken on this case begrudgingly, I don't think that's likely to actually go to trial.
Michael?
Yeah, also happy birthday, Roland. And you're okay for an alpha. So when we look at this...
Of course.
Yeah. When we look at this, I don't expect, first of all, we know that Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump has basically broad immunity. So there are 14 other defendants that still face charges in this case. But when it comes to him, I don't expect charges to be pursued in this. We'll see what happens with the co-defendants. We'll see how this plays out. But with this being Georgia as well, and with this playing out the way it did, Fannie Willis being removed, and them not being able to find anybody else to prosecute this case, I don't have high hopes for this. But we'll see what happens. But I'm not expecting real prosecutions to come for this. We do know that I think it was 4 of the defendants had already pled guilty. 4 of the 19 defendants, including 3 attorneys directly involved in Trump's bid, they did accept plea deals. But I'm not expecting much to come from this.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.